Welcome back. We have a very exciting knife here today. I may have to unbox some of this off screen. Oops. Just noticed this was taped, thought it wasn't. But man, this is one of those ones where I've actually never handled a knife from this maker. And it is the most expensive knife I've ever bought. Ugh. And it is well sealed there. All right, I'm gonna just pull this off screen really quickly. This guy sends a really cool tracking device with the knives that he sells. Check out NAF sales on Instagram. This guy gets a hold of some of the best knives in the world, including this one. This is my first knife from Walter Randolph, WR Bladeworks. WR Bladeworks, I'll say that without tearing something at the same time, so you can actually hear me. Let's see what you think, because a lot of people have been telling me if I like Hansen, which I did, that I'm gonna love Walter Randolph. So let's see what we think here. First and foremost, quite a colorful little display. Oh man, here we go. Mini Chaos, the Walter Randolph Mini Chaos. And this is quite an example from what I can tell. I didn't know it came with all this. This is a pretty cool pouch that it comes with here. I like that, that's fun. Looks a little red on the screen, but it's very much pink in person. And here we are. And I think this one just recently sold at FNBA about a month ago, if I tracked it down correctly. Sorry, let me get a little bit of tape off my hand here. Whew. That hornet's nest Damascus is really something. So let's read up on the rest of this here. Beautiful floating pivot, by the way. Wow, very light, easy action. Pretty good on the, oh yeah, really nice there on the liner lock. Love the inlay. Let's get a close-up of that because that's pretty spectacular. And these are full custom, no CNC, all made in-house. Man, that's a beautiful knife. That's definitely one of the best knives that I've handled. I do understand now why people love his work. All right, let's see what we think. So yeah, this is just from just a month ago that this was made, 2023. Mini Chaos. These are not cheap, by the way. Table price, I think, was around $3,300 on this. So these are not inexpensive. He does have some more plain versions for, like, what I understand, like $1,800 to $2,200 or something. But if you get these crazy pivots, the inlay, the Damascus blade, the Damascus bits, it ends up getting pretty expensive there. So let's lay that out there. I'll put that on the side there for your viewing pleasure while I read this here. So the blade steel Mini Hornet's Nest is the model is the Mini Chaos. Mini Hornet's Nest, I'm sorry, Mike Norris, I think that is. Hornet's Nest, sorry, not Mini. Titanium frame, Zerk. Is that what I'm reading here? Zerk Clover? Not really sure what that says. I have to come back to that. Pivot screws, so maybe Zerk Clover pivot screws. I don't know what I'm reading there. But I also just noticed like really no hardware on this side aside from the pivot, which is cool. Vintage green paper micarta inlay. Gotta see what this is. Clover. I don't know what I'm reading there. So if some of you know what that is, feel free to throw that in the comments. See if I can find it somewhere online really quickly while I'm looking. Excuse me. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful custom knife. Let's get some of this stuff out of the way and really just focus on the knife here. As fun as all of these are. If you were looking to check out his work, it's _WR Bladeworks on Instagram. And I've been following most of the work in the Facebook group. It seems like is another good place to learn about the knives. So let's get into it. We'll measure it up and stuff. I like the little sort of mini choil there. So the blade length you could say is about maybe like 3 1/3 inches with about 3 1/4 cutting edge, maybe a little more. Overall length, you're looking at about 7 1/2 inches. Let's weigh it in here. Sorry, bear with me 1 sec. Just get the scale out there. .395 ounces, which for, not having any, I would imagine if it's full custom, no milling out of the insides, no milling out of the titanium in there. Look at that floating backspacer in there though. It's pretty darn good, right? It's actually right in line with the weight to per inch length, right? Because it's more than a 3-inch blade, so it's just about right. Like it feels brilliant in terms of feel in hand. Let's do some size comparisons, just because again, this is like a lesser known knife, and I'm going to do them this way because I find with the way that I film that this is the best way to do it. Let me zoom out here. So we will do the Benchmade bug out and mini bug out. That bug out's almost the exact same size, bigger than a mini bug out. We will step up the game a little bit here and do an Oz Roosevelt and an SBK Lamia, which are often synonymous. So a little bigger than the Oz, a little smaller, pretty close to that SBK Lamia in size. Let's do the Demco team here. So you got a Demco 80-20.5 here, which is a tad bigger than the Walter Randolph, but less cutting edge it looks like, which is interesting. And then your 80-20 full size there, quite a bit bigger. Let me move this up a little bit here. I try and line them up by the pivots when I can, when I think about it. And then just from the budget end, let's do a few budget knives here. You have a CGRB Pyrite, and I guess this probably wouldn't constitute a budget knife, but a wee banter. And then just for good measure, we'll throw in the Spyderco pair of 3 there. Let's see what you think. Maybe I'll just throw in the brown mini FSD. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't grab my Hansen and compare it to the Hansen Onyx, which to me is the one that's really got me attracted to this knife in the first place. This has become one of my favorite models. Let's get these guys out of here. And sorry, I know I'm taking a very long time here, but I will get into the actual feel and whatnot. So it's a little bigger than the Hansen Onyx. So hopefully that gives you a sense here of what we're dealing with in terms of size. Action. This is one of my favorite action knives, and this is right in there. Now what I noticed is it's a little muted. Now this is a liner lock, so this can be part of it. But it's a little quiet on the close. I would have thought I'd get a little more noise, a little more satisfying action on the close, but that liner is pretty quiet. So it might be interesting to check out one of his models that's a frame lock to add in that element. You can choke up a little bit, but man, the grip is really nice, just kind of in the natural position. It's one of the better handling knives that I've ever had my hand on. Like, he really put in killer ergonomics on here. Now it's a pretty well swedged blade, as you can see. So this is a little thin. I'd actually prefer the swedge to start a little later, have a little jimping here, and have it be a little more focused on being able to choke up on it, but it's not bad. It's just a little skinny up here when you put your finger on it. But the real key is this action. You can roll it out. It's a liner lock, so you don't have to worry about lock bar pressure. And I'm just really curious. Yep, perfect lock up there. Let's try the action a little bit. So we got the roll out, then we got the reverse flick. Man, that's pretty sweet. Now here on the back side, we'll do a little zooming in here. You've got this kind of beautiful, almost looks like a blasted kind of finish. Beautifully finished pocket clip. Really looks like it's meant to be easy for the user. Love this little, it's not deep pocket or anything, but love this little hardware that he uses here. And then you've got a really beautiful back spacer. And man, what a beautiful inlay on that thing. That, I'm not a big micarta fan, but you just don't really get a sense of that being micarta. That is just beautiful. That's really nice looking. And then the pivot collars are, it looks like they're Zerk, which is probably what it means on that sheet, and they're spectacular. The blade finish, I mean, top 3 to 5 Damascus patterns I've ever had my hands on. And what I really like here, which it really bothers me when Damascus patterns are very uneven from side to side, it looks like it's just really nicely ground to make sure that it got the right balance of the Damascus. Like it's really well centered, where you see these shapes, like look how far they are from the bottom, and they're pretty similar on the other side. I've seen some really unfortunate grinds. Right here, it's sort of hard to see, but I'm gonna get the lighting just right. There's a maker's mark. He has a really cool looking maker's mark. Edge, spectacular. I'm trying to see if it's a hollow grind or a flat grind. I think it might be flat ground. I think it's flat ground, which is fine. It's not something I'm gonna personally cut with a lot. Wow, that is just a beautiful knife. So I'll just do a quick little zoom in on the liner lock also, so we can take a look at a bit of what he's doing there. But it looks like a pretty standard design overall. A little bit of chamfer on there so that the finger hits it in a more comfortable way. That is just a very nice knife. It feels like a luxury knife when you handle it. It's like one of the best ways I could describe it is you get your hands on it and it feels luxurious in hand. Maybe I'll try and zoom in a little more here and just let you kind of enjoy that on your own without my hand in the picture for a little bit here. Yeah, that's a real winner there. I think we found something good for sure. Walter Randolph, definitely worth checking out. I'm gonna have to just sit here and spend a little time, looking at this without having to talk to the camera. And maybe I'll do some more videos on this in the future. You're probably gonna see this in some of my, top knives, most expensive knives, those kinds of videos as well. But yeah, pretty cool one here. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Please like, subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of content, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.